Okay, we're going to talk about pots today and how you can avoid a mistake that I made buying my first backpacking pot. Now, this was actually my first backpacking pot here, the Olicamp XTS pot. It's 32 ounces. It's got the measurements on the side and on the inside. But the problem with this that I've learned is it's got plastic lid. It's also too big, 32 ounces. Unless you're cooking for 2 people or melting snow or eating just a ton of food, you're probably not going to need 32 ounces. That's a ton of water. It also has a little bit of plastic on it, which I've now come not to like for obvious reasons. That being said, I also put my pots in the fire or very close to the fire. So over time, I am going to have problems with this. And if I use the lid a lot, eventually at some point, the lid is going to give out. So this was too big, too heavy, and too much plastic. I shouldn't have got this. Now, what I'm going to recommend you do, instead of getting the budget pot, go right up to the nice titanium pot that you want. It's only about $10 to $15 more, maybe 20 in some cases. But let me explain this. You can't spend $10 or $20 more and get the better backpack or the better sleeping bag or the better tent. We wish we could, but it's going to probably take, $100, $200 more to get that better tent or bag that you're looking at. So you can really get a really nice pot right out the gate and not have to make another purchase down the line, saving you some money. And that's exactly what I had to do. I've bought now 2 pots. I bought originally the Olicamp XTS, which was too big. And then over experiencing some of these other pots that I was sent, I had moved up to now my favorite pot here, the TOAKS Titanium 550 milliliter. Without the lid, it's like 2.2 ounces. With the lid, I think it's 2.6 ounces. It's got the measurements on the inside that I like to see. Ultra light. And you guys would really be surprised how much space that is. This is a 4-ounce thing of gas, so you can easily put one of those in there. You can actually cook about 2 ramens in here if you crunch up the ramen and put it in there. So you can definitely put a load of food in there, and it holds up to 16 ounces of water. This TOAKS titanium pot is going to be for trips where I'm just trying to be ultra light. There probably might not be a fire, and I'm going to be using a gas stove on it. You'll probably never see this thing in the fire, or maybe a little tiny fire, if that. Now, for the winter time and the times where I'm going to have access to a fire, I'm actually going to move up to this Bestargot pot, 4.7 ounces, 750 milliliters, so an extra 250. Reason being is because if you're melting snow, it's nicer to have a bigger pot. And also this bail, you guys. This really makes the experience so much easier and quicker depending on your setup. So let's say that you're cooking over fire. Normally, if you didn't have the bail, you'd have to get it really close to the fire or possibly make something underneath of it. Then the whole thing's getting hot and you got to take your bandana and wrap it around it to get it off. Now, what I like about the bail is that you can, and you've probably seen me do this in the camping video, you can just stick it directly in the fire. Not just set it next to the fire. Heck, just I've set it right in the fire. Not this one. I'm talking about this bad boy here, because I used to have a, same one, just a steel version of it. And this is like 7 ounces. So 4.7 versus 7 ounces. Yeah, there's some weight savings there for sure, right? But what I would do is I would just take a stick and just set it in the fire like so. And then when I needed to get it out of the fire, I would go like that and just take another stick and, move the lid. And then I would just pour it with yet another stick like that. And maybe you bring chopsticks, you could use it that way. But it was a really nice way of having access to putting this in hotter spots and, in my opinion, using it easier and heating your water up almost like immediately. Like when you guys set this directly in the fire, heats up in like 30 seconds, 45 seconds. It's insane. So really like having a bail, and if I could go back in time and purchase something, if I only could purchase one pot, I would probably purchase this one. They didn't pay me anything to say that. That's just because it is more universal with the bail here, and it has a little bit extra weight, so that'll get you through the summer, winter if you need to melt some snow. That's the perfect size, 750 milliliters. I think anything above that for me is going to be just a little bit too much. Now, this was the pot that I was originally using. As you can see, I was just sticking it right in the fire, and it did really well, and just loved using it, but it was just too heavy. 7 ounces was crazy for this thing. It's strange. I wonder what factory some of these come from, though. Like, it seems like that's the exact same thing, just built. Do you want the steel one, or do you want the titanium one? So anyways, ranting too much on this. I just love this style and format and not having any plastic parts on it. It's really great. Real quick, we have to cover it. You guys have seen this all over the internet. This is the classic budget kit pot. It's about $20 to $25, and it comes with just a smorgasbord of stuff. It comes with the pot itself, which has plastic parts on it. It comes with like a wood cutter, and it comes with spoons and cups and a paracord. But all this stuff is really heavy. This spoon is an ounce, you guys. I mean, people have sleeping bags that rate down to like 20 degrees that weigh 1 pound. So you can take 16 spoons, or you can take an entire sleeping bag. You see, this stuff matters. I recently injured myself carrying too much weight. Look at what happens to bodybuilders and people that train really hard all their lives and stress out their joints. They get messed up when they're older. Lighter is better. Again, it comes with a whole bunch of stuff. That's great. But guess what? You're going to find out that you're not using this stuff. Eventually, you're probably going to be like a lot of people trying to cut weight. And guess what's the first thing to go? The pancake maker and the heavy spoons and the extra paracords and the wood cutter that you didn't use. So they're really just selling you a bunch of stuff that you don't need. The handles on this thing are plastic, which you know how I feel about that. You know, this melts, that gets connected together, then you're not going to unstick it like the other thing. I really don't like this thing. I hate it. Now, some people do. That's great. I'm glad you like the pot. You don't have to leave a comment about it. That being said, this is the least expensive pot you can get. So maybe just humor that there are better things out there, because this is literally the cheapest pot. So just accept that, man. I don't want to hear you shit in the comments. Well, and when I did try to cook some stuff on it, it got really sticky. I tried to make some eggs on there, and it just left a huge mess that was incredibly hard to wash off. And that's where internet commenter guy likes to say, well, you're supposed to use some oil. I know, man. I just wanted to see how it did without the oil, because I have a nice pan over here that I don't have to put oil in. So that being said, the pans operate different than the pots. These pots, you're often going to be boiling water or just warming something up. When you're frying something, man, you need nonstick and a lot of oil. So yes, you can purchase this and you can get by with it. But like I was saying, you can spend 20 bucks on this, or you can just toss in an extra 15 bucks and get the ultralight titanium one, or you can toss in an extra $10-ish and get the TOAKS titanium. This is, that's pro grade. That's what the ultralight guys are taking. You can't do any better than this. So really think about that when you make your pot. This is one purchase that you can make and have last a long, long time. The other thing that I've got is a GSI Pinnacle Pan. You can see this thing's been used and abused, and I put knife marks on it and everything. Still works great. This has a coating on it that is as good, if not better, than most of the stuff you would have in your kitchen, but it's heavy, and I take it on day trips and stuff like that. Sure is nice to fry up some fish out in the woods and stuff. And like I said, you have to use oil with these, as everybody's reinforced. I don't like using oil where there's natural predators in the area. Oil, I've found, is harder to clean up, not easier. It just gets on stuff. It gets on the rag. You can't wash it off as well because the oily residue is now on your rag. So I just, I don't like oil anymore. Don't like bringing it backpacking. That's fine if you do, though. You don't have to mention it in the comments. So there is another pot set that you can get, which isn't bad, which falls between $20 and $25. It's going to look like this. It's, again, going to have the plastic on the sides, and it's just going to look a little bit shinier and smoother and rounded down on the sides. Don't have the other pot with it because I gave it to a homeless guy, but it's a nice set, but it's too heavy. This is camping gear, man. This isn't backpacking gear at all. And as I've shown you, you can spend just a little bit more and get the better, lighter thing that's going to last you a lot longer, heat up quicker, cool down faster, pack lighter, and have less parts that are going to be needing to be damaged or replaced. So I hope this helps you guys. Go ahead and get the titanium pot. Get what you want the first time, especially on the pots. You can see the links to some of these in the descriptions, but again, I would probably go with the Bestargot or the TOAKS titanium. Really skip these kits that are at times, sometimes even more expensive, that have large amounts of heavy things in them. Hope this helps you guys, and I'll see you on the next video.